Hello, this is Joshua from Ask the Child Whisperer, and I am happy to have a little bit of time with you. And of course, as always, I'll make it quick so that you can remember my tips and strategies and you can get on with your busy day of enjoying your children and navigating early childhood. I wanted to speak specifically to play dates because they can be wonderful, they could be euphoric, and they could also be a pain in the butt. Why? Because it really depends on your child's personality, and it also depends on your goal. Why are you having a play date? So there is no wrong or right, but I think when you have clarity, it helps everyone get something out of it. So step one, before kids come into your house, figure out what your rule is about stuff, regardless of how old your kid is. Can kids pull out just anything, or are there certain things that are available to play with? The reason why I asked you to think about these things is because you never know the personality of the child coming to your house. You just never know. So if you can plan some things ahead that are your yes and your no's as far as play date, it makes it really clear when you coach both children. I think it becomes very awkward at a play date when you don't want to tell something to someone else's kid, but they're in your space, right? Really uncomfortable. And because you become uncomfortable, then your child will either become really uncomfortable with you, or your child will become the alpha and establish the rule for you. So I'll give you an example. A kid was on a play date. The mom was like, it was kind of fun. Blah, blah, blah. The kid started to get really wild, and this kid started whooping it up. And so her kid started like, oh yeah, I'm going to be more adventurous. I'm going to try some crazy stuff. So they go to grab some, I think there was like flour or something on the counter. They go to grab it. And of course they do that look to see if the adult's like, are you okay with this? What do you think of this idea? And she said, for a second, I was caught really off guard. Like I didn't know they were going to do that. And then I didn't know, should I say something now? Should I hope they don't touch it? Well, as soon as children sense that pause, someone's going to become the alpha. Someone's going to lead the pack. So you can imagine that didn't end too well. So what I always do is I imagine if someone gets really pumped, really excited, feels really alpha, what is my yes and what are my no's? Quick example. No, you can't. We don't open closed doors. If a door is closed, we're going to keep it closed. You can't play in there, right? It's an easy thing to tell your kid, hey, remember when your buddy comes over, if a door is closed, you can't go in that room. You can only go in the rooms where the doors are open. So you've already established that boundary for yourself and also for your child. Another thing that gets a little weird, and it's really common, but oftentimes parents, it gets away from you because people don't talk about it in advance, is what is toy sharing policy? So it really depends on your child. It's much easier to say, hey, you're welcome to play with the toys here, but our toys don't leave our house. So no, you can't borrow it. You can't take a piece of that Lego home. No, you can't take that dress up thing. Why? Because if your child is warming up to play dates, you don't want them to start getting fearful of their stuff going away or disappearing, never coming back. It's making things too complicated. So if you have a younger player, not age, but just inexperience or maturity, then I don't need another variable coming in. So I always establish, oh my goodness, you love that toy. Isn't it fun when you come here and play with it? And because I say that, I'm discreetly telling my kid, he's going to come here and play with it. He's not going to take it to his house. She's not going to take it. So it's very clear to me. So if a kid were to say, can I use this? Or they're crying and they don't want to leave and you feel awkward and they're grabbing onto the lion that you already established for your child, don't worry, your toys will not leave. Right? So that means the child may walk out and you'll get it from their car, worst case scenario, but that your child knows no matter what, my stuff is going to stay here. Our stuff stays here. People come and play with it. They won't break it. They won't take it. It will be safe. It will be here. The other thing to know about play dates is your child's rhythm. What is what's their stamina? What's their pacing? So this is where you have to figure out, why are you having a play date? Is it for your kid or is it for you? So there's no wrong or right. It's just the ability to be aware that if your child is a more immature player, a shorter play date will always work better for you, because you're building up that muscle. So being able to play, share space, to share their building that. So your play date may only be 30, 45 minutes initially, but every time that kid comes over again, you can add another 5-10 minutes. It's a slow grow. If you start with too long of one, it goes haywire. And the impression for all of the adults and the children is, this was really hard. This kid is tricky. This maybe didn't go well. When in fact, it could be that it was just, they were tired. They were now running on adrenaline. They weren't making good choices at that point. And you were prolonging it because it felt good to you. And you were like, how bad could it be? But we always want to end play dates on a good note. Yes, even if your kid is crying because it's going so well and you agreed on an hour and 15 minutes and the kids are crying, but we want to play a minute more. That, people, is a good note. Crying because something was so awesome you don't want to stop means that when they reconnect, you will probably be able to have a longer play date and a successful play date. But constantly moving, okay, we'll say 20, we'll say another hour, we'll say that becomes so blurry, that becomes so exhausting, that probably going back home may become disastrous, because they've used all their energy. They haven't really paced themselves well. They're just at some point just surviving the fun instead of navigating the fun, two different things. So surviving the fun means they're essentially holding their breath. They're maybe not even using the bathroom because they don't want to stop. They think, oh, if we stop playing, or if we say, I want water, or I need to pee, then the moms will say, or the dads will say, well, it's, oh my goodness, look at the time we have to go. So I don't want kids holding that kind of stress as they're having fun. I want them to be in the moment, be aware that it will come to an end, but they're still managing their bodily functions, using the bathroom, drinking water, getting something to eat, playing quietly because they're starting to run out of juice. So I want my children to navigate fun, not survive it. And the last thing I want to say about play dates is, if your child is a really easy player, it's not your job to have your kid always have play dates with children who are working really hard at play dates, right? It's not your child's job to be the nice kid, the sweet kid, the always say yes kid. You're burning out your kid. And so it's okay to say every now and then, hey, we're not available. Why? Because every child needs to have the whole spectrum of play dates. Some will be easy, some will be hard, some are in the middle, but you can't always have kids that are on the extreme ends of the socialization spectrum, because it's really hard work for one of them. And the other one as well starts to make assumptions about, he'll always say yes, she'll always say yes, she'll always share, she'll always let me have it first, right? So if you are going to have a mismatch in social skills, it's really important to know that you're going to say, listen, when you guys are playing, I will help you so he can do part of his idea and then you can do part of your idea. Yes, remember, I will help you. So sometimes you're first, but he's also going to be first. Right. Remember, at snack, it's her turn to pick the snack. Next time it will be your turn. So if you are going to have a mismatch in skill sets, you're explaining the expectation. You're not going to hope and wish it goes your way or that the kids are going to get it. You're going to have to vocalize it. That way, both parents can support their kid with this very reasonable expectation. So that's my 2 cents about play dates. And remember, if you absolutely are dying to have a play date with a parent, sometimes do it away from the kids so you can actually have the conversation. You can actually focus on relaxing and enjoying each other. And you don't have to worry about being a physical support, an emotional support, a pacing coach. You don't have to do all of those things while you're trying to find 2-3 minutes to enjoy each other and some adult chatter and talk. So there's always a way to satisfy all of you. But if you are using a play date to grow social skills, be really conscious that that is going to take precedence over you hanging out with the parent. So, we're kind of proactively doing this so that your child learns to enjoy play dates, learns to establish boundaries, feels comfortable and safe, and they can begin to enjoy hanging out with children one-on-one or 1-on-3. Notice I don't say 1-on-2 because 3s at a play date is extremely difficult. So I would always say 1-on-1 or 1 with 3. 4 is a much better social number for children, particularly if there's a younger involved, a more immature player. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoy your play dates that are coming up, or hangouts, or whatever you call them. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at info@askthechildwhisperer.com. And remember to watch what I'm putting up on Instagram. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.